Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a zero-tick sugarcane farm for your Bedrock Edition worlds. This farm is extremely simple and easy to build. It's also rather cheap, and of course, being a zero-tick sugarcane farm, it's also extremely efficient as well. The farm I'll show you how to build in today's video produces about 23,500 sugarcane per hour using just a couple dozen plants. So as you can see, that is a lot of sugarcane very quickly. One of the nicest features of the zero-tick sugarcane farm design is that even when the farm is off and it's not zero-ticking the sugarcane, it'll still harvest any sugarcane that naturally grows. So even if this zero-tick design it does break sometime in the future, you don't need to tear it down because it also acts as just a normal sugarcane farm, automatically harvesting and collecting the sugarcane as it grows naturally. So let's go ahead and take a look at how exactly this zero-tick sugarcane farm works. It's actually a pretty basic design and it's really straightforward. So we have a whole bunch of moving waterlogged blocks going back and forth around the sugarcane, and that forces it to update and grow, and then we simply have an observer back here detecting when it grows, and that harvests all the sugarcane. Now, of course, because this produces around 24,000 items per hour, you can't just have a simple hopper line going out. Hoppers can only transfer 9,000 items per hour. So we have two outputs for this design with 4 hopper lines in total just to collect all the sugarcane so that nothing ever gets lost, left behind, or backs up your hopper lines. So as you can see, we get quite a bit of sugarcane down here, and we also get quite a bit of sugarcane over here as well, and this has only been running for just around 5 minutes. So the thing that allows this to harvest the sugarcane at all times of the day, even when the farm is off, is the fact that this observer right here always detects the sugarcane and will always harvest it as soon as this one right here grows up, as you can see there. And it also launches the hopper minecart as well to collect all the items and put it into your storage system. So this thing will just passively collect you items all of the time, and then if you want like a lot of sugarcane very quickly, and then you can go ahead and turn it on and have a zero-tick sugarcane farm. So in case you're not aware, the 1.13 update for Bedrock Edition actually changed the way that we have to zero-tick sugarcane. So this used to be the most efficient design pre 1.13, but as you can see, now it just kind of, ungrows the sugarcane instead of making it grow much faster, which is not at all helpful for farming. So post 1.13, there's actually a couple of different ways to zero-tick sugarcane. You can alternate pistons like this, but it has to have exact timing, which works pretty well and honestly isn't that bad. The other method of zero-ticking sugarcane has to do with moving waterlogged blocks back and forth around the dirt block, and that'll provide an update to the sugarcane and make it grow much faster. As you can see there, just grows really fast. And this is honestly a very simple and very reliable way of zero-ticking. It's also extremely cheap as well. So here's the farm that uses that method, 23,000 drops an hour. And here's the farm that uses the alternating piston method, and this one gets about 17,000 drops an hour and also uses way more pistons, which causes way more lag. Something I should probably say before we get into the tutorial, before the entire comment section blows up about randomness, is that these forms of zero-ticking have actually been around since before 1.13. They're nothing actually new, it's just that they were not the best way of zero-ticking. This method was the best way, but now that's broken, so these are like what we got to work with. So that's why we're making new farms, and that's why basically everybody on YouTube is making a new sugarcane farm. Because all the other ones are broken, and now we have to use these. Nothing too special about it. One thing I do want to mention before we actually start building is if you want to, you can just cut this farm in half so you only build one side of it. This is technically 2 farms kind of squished together because it gives, a much nicer look. It's pretty easy to build, and you may as well just go for the full output. Alright, so let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? If any of you are interested, there's going to be a full materials list for this build down in the description of the video. These are more or less the different types of materials that you need, but there will be exact accounts down in the description. And also, the area that you'll need to build your sugarcane farm is going to be 17 blocks long, 6 blocks wide, 5 blocks above the ground and 2 blocks below the ground as well. And we're going to be starting from this end over here, so plan accordingly. So to give you some references for how our build is going to be orientated, our on and off switch is going to be on this side of the build. We're going to have one of our output chests around there, and we're going to have another output chest over there as well. So keep that in mind when we're building. So first things first is go ahead and place 2 blocks right here in the middle of your build, right on the far end. You want to go in by a block and dig down by 2, and at both of these locations. One of your output chests is going to be located right there, and of course you can run that into whatever kind of storage system you like. You need to dig down 2 blocks on this side as well, and then place a hopper going into the side of that chest, 1 hopper going into the top of it, another hopper facing downwards into that lower one, and this is going to be the middle of the farm for our railroad track. So now you need to go ahead and mine another 4 blocks in this direction, and just continue it in with another 4 hoppers going into those ones. So each one of these is a hopper line going into your output chest. Each one of these can handle about 9,000 items per hour, so they're never going to get backed up. So now we need to install the other hopper lines as well. What you want to do is you want to leave a 2 block gap. Go ahead and install 2 redstone blocks right here, another 2 block gap, and then mine out 4 blocks going in this direction on both sides. And then we're gonna have our other output chest right here. So dig down by a couple blocks, a double chest. You want a hopper going into the side of that chest, a hopper going down into that one, a hopper going down directly into the chest, and then just bring these back along like so. Now we need to install our rail lines, so go to the far right side over here and remove this block, place in 2 powered rail, a normal rail, and then just continue down with powered rail going all the way to the left side. Once you're above these 2 hoppers right here, just have 2 normal rail, and then continue it all the way back with powered rail going directly into that block. We can now go ahead and remove that one and replace it with a block as well, and now the rail line is completely installed. We also need to install a glass wall starting from about right here going all the way down to this side. It doesn't technically need to be glass, however, it should be any form of solid block that will stop water from flowing. So it should be the same on both sides. Go ahead and install the platform for all of our sugarcane to grow on. We need to start 3 blocks in from this edge over here, and you want to build this either out of dirt, sand, or grass, anything that sugarcane will grow on. So this needs to be 11 blocks long. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then of course have that be on this side as well. Now we need to install our pistons that are going to be pushing the blocks along and zero-ticking the sugarcane. So we need one that's going to be diagonal of that block and another one that's going to be diagonal of this block right here. We need to do the same thing on this side, so we need a piston in that location and another normal piston in that location right there. We want to go ahead and finish boxing in this little trench right here, since this trench is going to be completely filled with water and you don't really want that leaking out. So we need to do this on both sides, of course, and once you've blocked in this trench, go ahead and fill it in with water as well. Once the trenches are filled up with water, we want to go ahead and place some stairs in here as well, and as you can see, all these guys will now be waterlogged, which saves you quite a bit of time having to individually waterlog each one of those guys. So now we need to get some stairs in this orientation right here in front of each and every single one of our grass blocks. These guys can be mildly tedious to place, but we need a line of these on either side. And of course, we need to go ahead and encase these guys as well. I would recommend encasing them in glass, so that way you can see if they are waterlogged. And these stairs do need to be waterlogged. If they're not, your sugarcane will pop off and it will not grow. So once you have them encased on those sides like so, simply go ahead and click on each and every single one of these guys with a water bucket, and then you can see through the glass and make sure that they are waterlogged. Again, this is a crucial step. If you miss any of these guys, then your sugarcane will not grow. It's now time to install the main clock of this system, so go to the left side of your build. We want a block right there, a redstone torch, block above it, a repeater right there on 2 ticks, a block right behind that piston, and then simply install 2 blocks right there, redstone dust on top of them, and a redstone torch. Flip back around to the other side. You want to go ahead and place a redstone dust right there. That should start a clock and it'll be good to go. you now want 3 blocks right there, a redstone torch, and 3 redstone. So as you can see, that's going to be the main brain of our system and the thing that makes the entire farm work. And now you can just place an on and off switch right there on that block. So now we want to run this redstone line all the way down the farm to this piston over here, and then a block next to it, a piece of redstone dust. And you want to make sure that this block right here is a piece of glass, otherwise that redstone will not connect and you won't be able to power that piston. So that block right there needs to be made of glass. We also need to do this on the other side, of course, so just bring this redstone going all the way down and meet it with that redstone torch. If you turn on the farm now, you should see that both of these guys get pushed back and forth over and over and over for infinity, and that means that everything is working just fine. Now go ahead and place a piston facing into the farm on top of each one of these stairs, and you need to do that on both sides, and of course these are the guys that harvest your sugarcane. Come over to the far right side of the build now, and you need to put in 3 blocks right there, an observer facing inwards as well. These blocks can be glass or solid blocks if you want, and this observer detects when the sugarcane grows up so that you can then harvest it. And now we need to have a little T-shape of blocks behind it like so, with a block up in both of these corners. A repeater needs to be right there on 3 ticks, another repeater on 3 ticks right there, piece of redstone dust, turn around, and this one needs to be on 4 ticks. This is a fairly exact timing, that way the observer only sends out a single pulse instead of having a couple of pulses sent out from this piston updating the observer. It's complicated, but not really. So now we want to go ahead and place in another solid block and then just continue redstone above each and every single one of these pistons right here to activate them. If you want to save a piece of redstone dust, you can replace that one with a solid block. To finish up the redstone on this build, you want to have 3 blocks right here and then a block up. You can go ahead and remove that one if you want to. And now we need a repeater right here on 3 ticks, and then just redstone on top of all of these pistons. Again, if you want to save some redstone dust, to put a solid block right there. You can go ahead and put a couple of blocks on this edge wall right there if you want to, and finally plant in all of the sugarcane. And now if we go ahead and actually just like put in a couple extra ones and basically update that observer, we should see all of those get harvested, and the pistons only extend once because of this logic circuit. Now, if you're having any issues with the pistons, basically extending multiple times, you might need to try adjusting this clock right here. I actually had to adjust it by a couple of ticks for no real reason. Redstone is a little bit random. Actually, it's completely random on Bedrock Edition, so you might need to adjust your timings in order to get it to be exact if you are having issues. The final touches to your ZeroTick sugarcane farm is to maybe put a roof over it if you want to. This will help reduce the loss. I've never seen any sugarcane like fly up out of the farm, but why would you take the chance on that one? You can also go ahead and place a button right here to kind of reset this logic circuit. Sometime if you unload this at just the wrong time, it could get stuck on, which is kind of a weird one. So you can press that button to reset it if you ever have issues. And finally, you can go ahead and place in your hopper minecart right here on the bottom. Final last note, we actually need to replace this solid block right here with a piece of glass. That way that piston doesn't get powered when it shouldn't. And the block underneath of this repeater also needs to be a piece of glass, so that way we can power the minecart. Again, that needs to go on 3 ticks. And finally, we need 1 piece of glass right there and 3 pieces of redstone dust to power the hopper minecart and actually collect all of your drops. And for the moment of truth, we can go ahead and turn on the farm, and we can see all of these sugarcanes get grown up fairly quickly from the ZeroTick. As you can see, they all grow up, they get harvested, and they get automatically collected by your hopper minecart down below as well. Pretty slick, works pretty well, and then of course all of your drops get put into your actual output chest number 1 and output chest number 2. You might want to remove some of these blocks so you can open that easier. But yeah, otherwise this farm works extremely well, and hopefully you guys do enjoy building this in your worlds and enjoy the massive amount of sugarcane that you get from it as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about this particular tutorial, then of course let me know if a comment down below, as I'm always trying to help you guys out as best as I can. If you did enjoy this tutorial, be sure to leave a like on the video, as it helps out the video and the channel significantly. If you're new here and you want to see more tutorials like this in the future, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you all down in the comment section and in the next one. Thanks again for watching. and then there was silence.